my form.
Okay, well, you can start off with your first one because I started the last one.
Okay. So same rules will apply for each, and we'll gotta go back and forth with it.
Okay.
My first one is going to be. I'm gonna go with Trish.
It has to be. It fucking has to be Trish
It
Stratus.
has to be Trish.
Not just because she's Canadian either.
She's, I believe, a 7-time women's champ. Actually, it could be 8 now.
At the time, it was a record holder.
She was
for a long time.
record holder. She started off as a valet for Test and Albert, if you can believe that. And
I actually remember that. Yeah.
yeah, she started out as a valet for Test and Albert. They were known as TNA.
Yes.
Before TNA.
Guess which one Trish was? she's TNA and
she was yeah. She was TNA.
yeah. It wasn't Test and Albert. It was literally just about her. It really was about her.
But she came into her own and eventually grew into one of the more talented women wrestlers
Of all time.
Oh yeah.
Of all time.
She's insanely
Probably the
talented.
#1 all time.
Even now, she had a banger match.
Her comeback is incredible.
She had a banger match earlier this year with Becky.
Yeah. You can tell that her yoga stuff has put her in like way better shape than when she used to be.
Oh yeah.
In her 50s.
She's nearly 50.
Yeah, she's nearly 50, and she's putting on. She put on some clinics, like incredible, like some of her better stuff, and is like of recent memory. That's incredible, and that's how good Trish Stratus as an athlete was, and it also tells you exactly how bad the division was back then, where her and Lita and that was it carrying most of the division for most of the time they were there. For maybe a couple here and there, like Molly Holly and Jack, but they were never taken seriously.
Oh yeah.
And my #1 is obviously Trish as well, because like you can't. There is no women's. Like, say what you want about like Sable and Tori Wilson and
they were looks.
They were looks. Even Miss Elizabeth, I can understand an argument for that. She's not a competitor. She's not a competitor. But I can understand an argument for that.
You could put her on. I would say you put her more
on the manager's list. Yeah. Yeah.
But my #2 is I'm gonna go with Charlotte Flair.
Somniac somewhere like fuck.
Yeah, but multiple times, like she has the most women's title reigns in history.
How many does she have right now?
I think like 14 or something.
Yeah, she just passed another woman that has my #2. So.
But she has so many world title reigns. She's good in the ring.
She is good in the ring.
She's very good. I don't like her promos. Her promos could.
They're all the same.
Her promos, I could take or leave.
Yeah.
And her impression of Ric Flair's woo is terrible.
Yeah.
I hope she never ever does it again.
Stop doing her dad's woo.
I hope she never ever does it again because it's terrible.
And the strut that she tried to do too.
Oh. Although I do like that.
But I do like the robes that she uses of her dad's robes.
Come out like her entrance is nice. It's really good.
Her WrestleMania Triple Threat was her dad's robe.
Yeah.
Like that was incredible.
Like she does somewhat play the Ric Flair role pretty well. She does.
She just had the overbooking syndrome.
Yes, and she has but the only other downside is she has the tendency to kind of insinuate herself into a lot of storylines that, like, it should have, like, main event of WrestleMania 35, for example, should have just been Becky versus Ronda.
Didn't need Charlotte.
The only saving grace there was that Becky won due to a botch, but she won. And she would win both titles.
And she was the underdog in that, and like.
And she won both titles.
That was where the man finally like, this is it, Becky. Yeah.
But yeah, my #2 is Charlotte Flair because you can't argue with the most title reigns in history.
And her matches were good.
Her matches are pretty good.
Sasha Banks feud.
Oh yeah, her feud with Sasha Banks was good. She had a good feud. She had a mini feud with Becky Lynch, which was good too. Even the reunion,
that War Games match was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
That's recently. It was really good.
Oh yeah. Her match. She had a match with Rhea Ripley this year that was pretty good too.
Her stuff with all the 4 Horsewomen were really good.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I think she had a brief run with Paige too, against Paige too.
That would have been good.
Like it would have been good if Paige wasn't hurt in that timeline, but yeah, no.
Yeah. Well,
My number 2 is the fangirl of Trish Stratus, Mickie James.
oh, I like it.
Mickie James, I would say, is probably one of the most underrated women of all time because she came during the most dead era of women's wrestling, except in TNA, where the Knockouts division was queens of wrestling around the world. You got Mickie James, you got Gail Kim, the beautiful people. Victoria came back for that. We had Winter, who was Katie Burchill.
Yeah.
Fantastic wrestling from Mickie James. Her feud with Trish was great. She had a great run against Victoria. She's had plenty of epic matches against Awesome Kong and Gail Kim. Her recent comeback, the last ride of Mickie James against Tiona Perazzo, against Jordan Grace, knockout after knockout after knockout, made Tasha Steelz like $1 million, got Kiera Hogan an AEW contract. How good that was. Mickie James is one of the greatest workhorse women's wrestlers of all time, and an 11-time world champion. She's 2 all time.
You can't argue with that. That's a damn good resume. You can't.
And she's still able to go.
My number 3 is she didn't exactly go one against women all that often, but she would go against men quite a lot. I'm gonna go with Chyna.
Okay.
The fact that she was an absolute beast. She wrestled men, and held her own against men. Against men wrestlers. Now that sounds really misogynistic. And
It's men! Men!
No, I'm sorry for sounding misogynistic, but you generally don't see a lot of intergender matches, and when you do, it's mostly how it's booked. It's mostly the guy just completely just wins and destroys. But
yeah,
with
it's true.
Chyna in the ring, she had some decent competitive matches with the likes of Road Dogg, Chris Jericho.
That's true. Yeah.
Even had
the Jericho stuff was great.
That stuff with Jericho was good. Even had that stuff with Eddie Guerrero was good too. But the fact that she was able to hold her own against male wrestlers and absolutely dominate against other women wrestlers, which I guess she didn't really have a whole lot to contend with at the time, but it's just absolutely insane. And I put her on there just because of how much of a beast she was.
Oh yeah, can't argue with that.
No.
You really can't. Chyna was probably the stepping stone from other greats. Awesome Kong would never get a platform without her. Beth Phoenix owes a lot to her. Another fantastically underrated professional wrestler is Beth Phoenix, who matched the athleticism with the intensity of a big woman, stronger than anyone at the time. My next one's actually Lita.
That's a good one.
And it's for the same reasons as Trish. Nobody else was there. But at the same time, she had the Team Extreme, the stuff with the Hardys, the massive amount of heat she was able to garner with Edge because of the cheating scandal.
Oh my god.
But they managed to parlay that into one of the hottest heel arcs of all time. The live sex celebration that got a lot of attention, that brought a lot of eyes to the product. And this was during a non-edgier time of wrestling. It was in between things.
They had come down from the Attitude Era.
It was the Ruthless Aggression. It was towards the end of Ruthless Aggression even. Yeah. And Edge and Lita together pushed the boundaries of it. And then her later career, when she came back for a couple stints, she still was pretty damn good. And she's I think a 6-time women's champion, one of the greatest of all time. And she's always had a good match. And she was not afraid to take bumps against men too. Dudley Boys had fucked with her so many times. The Hardy Boys got some shots in on her. She had stuff with Edge and Christian even too.
John Cena hit her with an AA at one point.
She was not afraid to mix up with any man.
No, she was not.
She's not afraid of it.
No. My last one's going to be a bit more recent. And I'm going to go with another one of the Four Horsemen. I'm going to go with Becky.
Okay. Yeah, Becky Lynch. Okay.
I'm going to go with Becky because I think Becky started off as sort of that underdog character as well. Came in, her debut wasn't the greatest. They had her come in as an Irish She is Irish, but they had her come in as
Irish jig dancing.
yeah, and had like the little like Irish jig song and everything. It was horrible.
And there's a rumor that Vince didn't find her attractive because she wasn't like blonde with big tits either, and all that stuff. I was like,
but
which is completely false, by the way.
Totally wrong. But she out of the four of them, she's probably the best looking one.
She's probably the toughest too, I would say.
Oh God, she can take a beating. Like
her entire man thing was started by a botch.
Yeah, she got her nose broken by, was it Nia Jax?
And it was Nia Jax. That's where the beginning of Fire Nia Jax thing came from.
So you could actually
Nia Jax is the reason that Becky's the biggest thing in women's wrestling.
Yeah. Like that moment where she won both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles at the same time was part of the only women's main event of WrestleMania well, I guess if you want to count like night one and stuff, but I don't really count that. But the first ever women's main event, first time women had ever main evented a WrestleMania, and it was a good match.
Very good.
She came out on top, and that was an amazing moment for her and for women's wrestling in general. Huge part of the women's revolution as well, and you can't argue the fact that she's one of the, as you said, one of the toughest women's wrestlers of all time.
Oh, she calls herself the man, and when her husband's Seth Rollins, I still believe that she's the man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, her husband's Seth Rollins, I'm going, nope, Becky is in charge of that relationship, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
They share closets, but that's it.
That's about it.
Yeah, no, Becky's a good one. But mine is AJ Lee.
I like it.
My last one's AJ Lee. Okay. And the main reason for that is because when you look at the women's roster, who the fuck was facing AJ Lee? She carried the entire thing. The entire goddamn thing. She is the one that started the revolution of change in women's wrestling. She marched to that drum. She wanted it to happen. She wrote tons about it. She's the one that brought people like Paige. And without people like Paige, the current... I don't know how many people hate her online. Without Paige and AJ Lee, the current women's division would not be the same. There'd be no top talent main eventing anything without Paige and AJ Lee. AJ was very good in the ring. She was always considered unfuckable, unlikable, on this, on that. And she had very much what Cody Rhodes is now, undesirable to undeniable attitude. AJ Lee, without her, Cora Jade wouldn't exist. Roxanne Perez wouldn't exist. Sky Blue wouldn't exist. These top, really talented young women would not exist without AJ Lee. And that's why I think she deserves the props. And her stuff with her on the mic against Kane, against her own husband, against John Cena when she was GM AJ Lee with Daniel Bryan. She cost Daniel Bryan the world title, which started a big thing for Daniel Bryan.
That whole thing started. She basically started the Yes Movement.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah. And she's behind a lot of great things, and a lot of it she didn't have to be in the ring for it to happen. She had carried the women's division with having to wrestle as much as she did. She carried it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Again, the women's wrestling nowadays would not be anything without her.
No.
We would never see them wrestle main event in WrestleMania, let alone 3 times in a row for one of the nights.
Absolutely.
Especially Bianca and Sasha one of those nights, which was one of the better ones.
Oh, it was amazing.
Well, that's the 4 I would go with. 4 very different eras.
So I was going to do a tag team one, but I think we've run for quite a long time, so I'm gonna.
We have an hour and a half, so that's not too long.
Okay.
We can do it. If you have them in mind, we can do it really quickly.
Okay, well, my first one I was gonna do Edge and Christian. That's my first one for tag teams. Edge and Christian, part of the TLC 6.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think they have a name for that, but that's I guess what I call it. But one of that group with the Dudleys and the Hardys, Edge and Christian won all 3 of those TLC matches.
They did, yeah. They actually did.
They won all 3 of them. The Triangle Ladder match at WrestleMania 2000, the TLC matches at SummerSlam 2000 and WrestMania X7.
Yeah.
Anybody who says 17 is wrong and should be...
You're not a wrestling fan. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you're not a wrestling fan. Anybody who says WrestMania 17 should be burned at the stake.
It's X7, all right?
It's X7. But no, they won all 3 of those TLC matches. They super entertaining. And they started off as being part of the Brood. That's what they
Yep.
started off as.
Yep.
Like, Edge, again, obviously, Edge and Christian both two really talented wrestlers who could do a lot of different things in the ring. Edge has won world title, like so many world titles in WWE. Christian's won world titles in two different he's won 3 different world titles. He's won the World Heavyweight title in WWE. He's held the Impact World title. He's held the NWA World title.
Yeah, no, Christian, phenomenal.
Christian's won titles all over the world. Like, he's been amazing. But one of the most, in my opinion, one of the best all-around tag teams they were super entertaining on the mic with their whole shtick with Kurt Angle and their whole 5-second pose thing.
Yes!
Like, they were so
For entertainment purposes
good.
only, Edge and Christian's pot of awesomeness and all the stuff they did together was just fun.
It was so good. And even when they had to tone down their shtick to kind of fit the later audience, they still did that really, really well. And they feud well together too. Like when
They did.
They had a good little mini feud in 2001. They're having another feud right now.
Right now, it's really good. People are
is
shitting
good.
on it, but like I'm watching it, I think it's good. I think it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good, really good stuff.
Especially with the Nick Wayne's mom turning on things. Like I thought it was a really cool twist to it.
I thought that
This
was-
young up and coming wrestling prodigy, Nick Wayne, and he is an up and coming really good competitor. I think adding him in the mix too, that way they have someone to give the rub to afterwards. It's a good move.
Oh, it's a very good move. But that's my number one. Is definitely Edge and Christian.
My number one all time, probably has to be the Usos.
Yeah, that's one that I was definitely thinking of.
And it's not just the bloodline thing, it's just in general. Between them and the New Day, there was nobody else caring a lick about the tag team division. McMahon didn't give a shit, nobody gave a shit, but the Usos and the New Day, no matter when they were called upon, every single time, banger after banger after banger, the Usos were the most reliable handed tag teams from the get-go. And they were so good. They debuted with Tamina as their manager when they were doing like the dance at the beginning, and they evolved into these incredibly gifted athletes on their own, and they're both going to be very successful in singles guys. Multi-time tag team champions even before they got to the Bloodline, and then that 1 year stint when the Bloodline was at its perfect peak was so brilliantly done with Jay, especially.
The longest tag team title reign in history.
Yeah. The influence of the Usos hasn't been felt yet, but I think we're going to see tag team wrestling, especially in AEW and other companies, are forever changed by the Usos. People like the Usos.
Oh God, yeah. But actually, they were going to be my number 2 as well.
Perfect.
I think you said all that needed to be said about them, so I'll let you go on to yours.
Number 2 is a bit of a different pick.
Okay.
The Motor City Machine Guns in TNA.
I love it. I love them.
The
They're
Motor
good.
City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin. Again, TNA was known for 2 things: knockouts and tag teams. They nailed all of them. The stuff with Beer Money Inc., the stuff with the Dudley Boys when they came over as Team 3D, the stuff with BG James and Billy Gunn when they're a bit older, but they were still able to go. They were vicars of younger guys. Generation Me with the Young Bucks. The early young, the really young Bucks, super young Bucks, baby Bucks, and yeah, no, they were really good, and they finally have a full circle moment where Alex Shelley finally becomes the world champion for the first time in TNA, and Chris Sabin is X Division champion, and that's where they stand right now, and they're still very good. They both came back from horrific injuries and made a huge bounce back, and they're still a flagship. They're still 2 of the only guys that have been there since day 1, and they deserve it. And they're really good. They're right. Look, check out the Motor City Machine Gun stuff. They also worked with Rhino a lot too. Yeah, no, Motor City Machine Guns are good.
One of the best in-ring tag teams ever.
Yeah,
absolutely love them. My number 3, I'm gonna go with the Dudley Boys.
yeah.
Team 3D.
They have the most titles.
They have the most tag team title reigns ever. They were super entertaining, super over. good in the ring. They were the masters of the table. Some of their moments with tables are absolutely amazing. They had some really good tables.
They're the only ones that have carried championship gold in almost every company but AEW.
I think so.
They've done the Japan one. They had WCW one. They had, because the WCW one was when they were still like the invasion angle. Yeah. They had the ECW ones and both iterations of WWE championships.
Yeah. Oh my god. They have absolutely.
And I think they have a total of like 20 of them. And because they've carried a bunch of TNA Impact ones.
Oh yeah,
the NWA World Tag Team titles.
They've done so many.
I think they've even carried the New Japan ones for a while too. Like they've carried pretty much every title they could think of.
Oh yeah, I mean, they have to be known as one of the best tag teams ever, just because of how
Bully Ray's mind works brilliant ways.
Bully Ray has such a mind for wrestling. He's a wrestling genius. Yeah. And I believe even Devon still, I don't remember what his real name is, but
I think they just call him Devon, honestly.
Yeah, but I think Devon is I think he's still working for WWE, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a trainer. He's a trainer and producer. He's training his sons in NXT right now.
Well, there you go.
And Bully Ray still going in the ring as a very solid singles hand.
Oh yeah,
he won the TNA World title on his own with the Aces and Eights, which was like a good feud until it wasn't.
It was great at the start, and then it turned to shit.
But he deserved that world title run.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
But my number 3 is definitely the Dudleys.
Okay, so is it 3 for me now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. This was a tough one. I had to think about it a little bit here, but I would have to probably say the Hart Foundation.
That's a good pick.
And it would have to be the Jim Neidhart and Brett version. As much as I liked every iteration, Jim and Brett.
The Owen and Bulldog version was good.
Yeah.
And it lasted. But
Brett and Jim, because they were there right when tag teams were a thing, and they were one of the big standouts of it. When they transitioned to the pink and black, the standout tights on TV were the pink ones, and you'd always see Brett in there outworking everybody from who's from the Killer Bees to the Bolsheviks to like all these random teams, and Brett and Jim were always the ones that were there.
If you want a good Bret Hart, if you want a good Hart Foundation match, their match with the Brainbusters,
yes,
is so good. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard,
underrated, so talented, good.
But that match is really, really good. They had a match against the Rockers, which could have been good, but it wasn't because of a ring break. The ring rope.
Oh, that's just because Marty Jannetty was too high.
No, well, probably. The ring rope broke, and they never aired it. But
they made much to typical Brett. Anything they made was perfectly done.
Oh, it was great, and
against the British Bulldogs too.
Oh my God, their matches with the British Bulldogs were.
You could tell the family chemistry was on par there.
Oh yeah, definitely a good number 3. My number 4. It's a bit hard to say.
Because tag teams were really shit from the 2000s into the 2010s. Like a lot of it was not very good.
I wanted to go with the Road Warriors, but their run in WWE was terrible.
And that does hurt him a little bit.
That hurts him a lot.
That hurts him a lot.
Another tag team I really liked, but I don't think they're in that upper echelon, is the Hollywood Blondes with
that's interesting.
Steve Austin and Brian Pillman. I thought that was a really good tag team, but I wouldn't put them.
They had no one really to face at the time, though.
Another one you could talk. Ooh, you know what? I have my number 4. Okay. The Steiner brothers.
I would say,
Rick and Scott Steiner.
2 of the most athletically gifted tag team members.
They were absolute beasts.
NCAA standouts.
The fact that a man the size of Scott Steiner could do the Frankensteiner.
I know, and that was before he roided up hardcore.
That was well before. This is back when he had the long hair and the University of Michigan.
This is before Big Papa Pump.
Yeah, way before. But he was... The 2 of them together were absolutely amazing. And it's a shame Rick Steiner never got anywhere after that because I think he could have.
Yeah.
But like absolutely amazing tag team. Had some great matches with a lot of great teams. An honorable mention for me would be Harlem Heat as well. Harlem Heat was good.
You gotta get your one WCW team in there.
Steiners were WCW.
No, but like they were known for both. Harlem Heat was not known for both though.
Well, no, because Stevie Ray never stepped foot in WWE.
No, which is kind of surprising, honestly.
I'm surprised he never came over, but I think he retired by the time because I think he was older than Booker.
He was older than Booker, yeah.
And I think he retired by the time WCW kind of closed the circuit.
I think he did. It was pretty close.
Closed their doors, and he was like, "Yeah,
I think he's part of the training facilities in Booker with Booker in Texas, though.
Oh, probably, but. You could tell that one of them was super talented and the other one not so much.
Booker was incredible.
Stevie Ray, not so much.
Booker carried parts of WCW where he shouldn't have been able to. He shouldn't have had to. Like
No.
Him and DDP, especially, were two guys that you never would have picked out of a room to be leaders.
Oh my god.
Like.
Yeah. Well, they also had Jeff Jarrett, who was doing some he was wrestling decent at the time. His storylines were kind of crap, but
poor Jeff Jarrett, man. He just gets shit on all the time. He doesn't really deserve that shitting on.
He was best friends with Vince Russo. That's why.
That's not his fault. He just likes the guy. Vince Russo, I'm sure, is a likable guy outside wrestling.
I highly doubt it.
I don't know him personally, though.
Know, but...
You know who I probably would rather I'd probably have more time with outside wrestling? Probably him over Jim Cornette, because Jim Cornette seems like he's a grumpy dude.
I feel like
I agree a lot more with Jim Cornette than I do Russo.
I like the old school wrestling, so I feel like I'd have a good time with Jim Cornette. I feel like.
But if it's wrestling,
if I'm talking about wrestling, if I'm talking about anything else, Corny can fuck off.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's the same with Bischoff. If like Bischoff, I don't actually agree with him in anything in wrestling wise, but outside wrestling, he's a brilliant mind.
Oh yeah. Very
smart business guy. Wrestling wise, he seems to retcon his own stories. Like, we never did this. Is like, dude, you were the reason WCW was failing, dude. Like, shut up. You brought Vince Russo in as your safety valve and then got fired.
One guy I definitely, if I could have a meal with, would be Jim Ross.
Jim Ross. I want his barbecue.
Oh.
I want Jim Ross barbecue. I want to talk to Jim Ross.
Oh man, that would be absolutely amazing to pick his brain.
Because people were like, "Oh, he must hate AEW." It's like if he did genuinely hate it, he wouldn't have resigned a contract.
Why would he stay there?
He wants the company to improve, and he likes certain things. He loves Jack Perry. One of the few people in wrestling that loves Jack Perry. JR loves the guy.
Jack Perry.
He loves Jack
like
Perry.
Jack Perry
But
too.
it's because they blame him for CM Punk though.
Come on.
CM Punk played himself. You know how Brett screwed Brett? Well, Punk screwed Punk. All right. Punk screwed Punk.
Mic drop.
He did. Punk screwed Punk. Everyone knows it.
Now this actually plays into our next little mini segment here.
Well, I think I have one more team, though, don't I?
Oh, do you? Yes, you do.
I do. I was gonna go with FTR.
I like it.
FTR, man. I want to go with a modern team because Usos was one era, Foundations was another era. FTR is a current generation.
FTR is the best tag team in the world.
I think they're the best tag team in the world, probably one of the best of all time. You could tell the influence of Tully and Arn to a T. The influence, how much they love Bret Hart. That old school style with a mixture of the modern twist of wrestling. They managed to mesh that together perfectly. They can work well with any style and make a brilliant storyline with them. And WWE really dropped the ball with it. But Japan didn't, and AEW didn't, and anywhere else they've been, they haven't. And if the only thing holding them out from being an all-time great, other than my personal taste, is the fact that WWE run was not done well. That hurts them a little bit.
Fault.
It's not their fault, but it does hurt them. If they were back tomorrow with Punk in tow, I think they'd probably go a lot better.
Win the tag team titles. Them feuding with the Judgment Day. Oh! Imagine FTR versus KO and Sammy. Oh.
That's a WrestleMania worthy match.
That's that'd be to open up WrestleMania. That'd be so good.
Yeah, imagine opening that up instead of Theory and Cena. You get that.
That'd be so good.
Yeah, it'd be good.
But I guess that will lead us into our next segment, which will be
the final one.
Predictions for 2024. We're gonna cut the quiz, I think.
We could do the quiz like a whole separate episode, I think.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because we can do a whole quiz show episode, I think, of the entire era.
That would be cool, actually.
Yeah.
Well, so our last segment of the day will be Will be some predictions for 2024 for the coming year. We'll talk. We'll start off with the Royal Rumble. So let's go with the men's Rumble first.
Who did I say at Boston Pizza was gonna win? I forgot now. I was gun ho about it at the time.
Didn't you make a joke pick or something?
I made a pick. I think Yeti agreed with it. And I was like, "Oh shit, maybe I'm onto something." I forgot who it was now.
It wasn't Cody, was it?
No, it wasn't Cody.
Dominic?
No, it wasn't Punk.
Wasn't it Dominic Mysterio?
No, it wasn't Dominic. He made Dominic as a joke.
Okay.
He agreed. But looking at the way the rosters are laid out, way it's all going, they always go with a veteran. They never really go with a rookie. They go with a veteran or an upcoming top star guy. I have to think about it a bit. Well, what do you think for the Rumble, for the men's Rumble itself? Who do you think is winning that one?
I have a really hot take, and you already know what it is because I told you at Boston Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hot take. CM Punk. I have a hot take. Punk, and then he faces Rollins at WrestleMania and beats Rollins for the title. Rollins finally has his time off that he desperately needs because his back is fucked. But he beats Rollins for the title, and then you don't see Rollins again until SummerSlam because Rollins will take the few months off. I think it makes...
He beats Rollins at WrestleMania?
Yes, I think he beats Rollins at WrestleMania for the title. You have that main event night 1, because night 2 will be probably Roman versus whoever.
The main event at night 1 is going to be a women's match, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Rhea Ripley's hotter right now.
Okay, yeah, it would be Ripley.
If it's Ripley versus somebody big.
Now... what's your prediction for the men's Rumble then?
The men's Rumble, I don't think it's going to be LA Knight. I don't think it's going to be CM Punk.
I can't see it being LA Knight either. I don't think
he doesn't need it.
I don't think...
I think he's a good top mid-card guy.
I don't think they're ever going to give him a world title. If they do, they might give him the world heavyweight title once.
I think he's going to be something that's going to be a top mid-card guy. He's probably going to take on Theory at Mania for the U.S. title.
Theory's
I can see that.
Champion anymore.
Well, there's still time in between, isn't there?
You think Theory's going to come back and win it again?
At the Chamber, maybe.
What if...
they could even do a U.S. Chamber match.
They could have the U.S. Chamber match. I think Grayson Waller could be in there, too. Grayson Waller could win.
And then that adds to the LA Knight thing. LA Knight's been doing a thing with Roman still, and he's also got friends with John Cena, who's got a problem with Theory and Waller, and that all kind of connects.
A match I'd like to see, I would have liked to see, but then after the last 2 Cena matches, I kind of don't want to see it anymore, is John Cena and LA Knight. I feel like that would have been good, but I don't think it would be good anymore.
They're too similar in style that I don't think it'll work.
That and Cena's last 2 performances have been really bad.
He's just done. He's cooked, man.
I think I
think he's cooked.
I don't think
there's nothing wrong with it.
I don't even think he trained hard enough for that Theory.
He wasn't expecting to be involved in it because the writer's strike.
Well, yeah.
He wasn't expected to be back at all.
No, that was for the solo thing.
But still, even everything in between after WrestleMania, that strike went on for a while, and he didn't expect to be out of work for a while. He just didn't expect that. You don't train to be ready for that kind of thing. So that didn't help him.
But so you said no to LA Knight?
No CM Punk. No to Damian Priest even.
Well, Priest is Money in the Bank holder. I don't see why you would give it to him. I
honestly don't really know. I think it could be Gunther though.
I could see Cody again.
I'm gonna go with probably Cody again because that makes more logical sense to me that Cody wins it back to back because, I think Gunther will be probably Iron Man again. Punk doesn't need it against Rollins because he'll face Rollins at WrestleMania anyways. I think what happens there is that Punk wins, Priest comes out, cashes in on Punk, and then you get a Punk versus the Judgment Day.
You could see that now. Would you turn Rollins heel again leading up to that, or would you leave it face versus face?
I would leave it. Rollins is going off in the sunset and resting for a while. He still does that.
Yeah, that's true.
But what you have is that Drew McIntyre is the guy in between right now. You can have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. You can have CM Punk competing for the title again against Damian Priest at the following show at Backlash.
That would be good.
The international tour with CM Punk and Damian Priest headlining part of it. It'd be good for Priest, And Punk's a marquee name that people know.
Imagine Punk versus Balor too. That would be so good.
Punk versus Balor in Battle of, in Berlin, the Bash in Berlin.
That would be so good.
Doesn't need to be a title. It's just him facing the Judgment Day, him trying to bang the drum and trying to beat them all himself. Typical old straight edge style CM Punk.
That would be really good.
And LA Knight, again, I think he's gonna be top mid card guy, and that's totally fine. Whatever. So I think Cody Rhodes.
He's ever had that. He hasn't had that big match. He hasn't had that big victory.
Hey man, that's Slim Jim Battle Royal.
All right, but he hasn't had that big. He hasn't gotten the rub yet. He hasn't got that big victory yet.
That's why I think if they do something in the chamber, then I can see it. Then I can see something happening. And you know, because they're not gonna put Roman in the chamber. It's not gonna fucking happen.
No, no.
So it's probably gonna be U.S. or a world title one where Rollins has to beat the odds again somehow too.
I think it comes down to Punk versus Rollins, and Rollins gets like a fluky win or something, or Rollins wins,
and that sets up
Mania. And
that's why Punk wouldn't need to be in the Rumble.
I think he'll be in the Rumble, and I think he'll last a while.
I think it'll be Final Four. I think it'll be Gunther, Punk, Rollins, and probably maybe Randy Orton.
You mean what about Cody?
Well, if Cody wins, it'll be there. But if Cody doesn't win, I think Orton can be in there.
Why would Rollins be in the Rumble if he's world champion?
Oh yeah, sorry. So switch Cody out with Rollins.
Yeah, Cody
and then
Orton,
Gunther.
Punk and Gunther.
That's a good Final Four too.
Then have it come down to Cody and Orton would be a good final two.
Yeah, because people will be like, "Oh, Orton's finally getting another opportunity. He's gonna build up to it."
The history that Cody and Orton have too.
And maybe Orton just lets him take it.
I don't think.
No, but I think they'll have a handshake and they'll just finish it off together.
Yeah.
And they'll have a cathartic little hug at the end of it.
It'll be like a nice little show of respect at the end. It'll be good.
Yeah.
But all right, Women's Rumble. My prediction is I'm gonna straight up go with it, but Bayley.
I think so too.
I'm gonna go with Bayley.
I think we all agreed at Boston Pizza it should be Bayley.
Bayley versus Io at WrestleMania.
Bayley does full back turn to face.
Not the hugger gimmick again.
No, but I face Bayley. We're looking for her to go back to a natural face look. And with the Kabuki Warriors coming together again and all those, they're all really good at playing heel, especially Kairi and Asuka. Io's in there with them too. I think it's a natural face versus heel dynamic there. Bayley is being unappreciated. She's kicked out. She's beaten down. Maybe she costs her the title at the Chamber. Could even be a women's chamber match still.
Yeah.
And I think Bayley finally gets kicked out by Dakota Kai, and Asuka becomes like kind of the go-to leader, and then Io is the champion, and then it builds up all that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Bayley will win the Rumble.
Plus, Bayley being a horsewoman, that's the one thing she hasn't done yet is that.
Is win the Rumble.
Yeah. She's done everything else in the women's division but that.
She made it better at WrestleMania.
Oh, see, that could be that's the thing. That's a 2-for-1 right there.
But here's the thing: if she wins the Rumble, she's gonna probably go ahead and face Io. She won't face Rhea.
So that means Rhea wouldn't be it and be Io versus Bayley, and I think that's still good.
And I think,
especially for an international audience, a Japanese woman, and they're really trying hard to bring people like Okada in.
Oh yeah.
A Japanese main event with Bayley in there too.
Oh. Now, speaking of WrestleMania, let's do a little bit of predictions to see.
It's gonna be mostly what I would want to see.
Now we'll see what we want to see and what we think might happen. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Punk versus Rollins, we both kind of agreed that that's most.
It's gonna happen at some point in WrestleMania.
Probably at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be for the World Heavyweight title, and I think Punk will win.
I think we can both say that Punk will probably win.
Punk will probably beat Rollins and take the title off of him.
I just think it'll probably be Damian Priest fucking over Punk because I don't think Punk can be trustworthy enough for a sustained push for a world title because the last two he's had, he got hurt.
That's true. But now, so you got Punk Rollins. We've already agreed on that. Now, do you think Gunther holds the IC title through WrestleMania?
Yes.
Who do you think he faces?
That's a good
He's
one.
not really in a big feud with anybody right now, is he?
I think he faces Ludwig Kaiser.
You think?
I think Ludwig
turns on him.
I think Ludwig turns on them because he's being shit on by them.
What? Just Ludwig, not
yeah. I think
Giovanni.
No, I think Giovanni Vinci has been like the favorite of Gunther. You could kind of see it in the promos, and I can see Ludwig Kaiser giving Gunther another really good epic match, and Gunther ultimately puts him down because they're gonna want him at Berlin.
Now, okay, that's.
And they could do the rematch in Berlin.
I haven't. Now I'll get to that in a minute because I have another.
When is the Berlin anyway?
In September, I think.
So it's a little far out.
I have another idea for Berlin though, which I'll get to in a little bit. But you've got So I don't know if you don't go with Ludwig. I don't know who else you would have him face.
That's what I'm saying. Like the feud
He's
right
beat
now.
Everybody else.
Now the only other option potentially is a KO thing.
Gunther and KO could be good. Now,
Gunther KO Mania.
Thing, but here's the thing: you couldn't put the title on the line for this one. Would be Brock Lesnar. Gunther and Brock Lesnar.
Oh, you could do it.
Yeah, but would it be believable that Lesnar would lose to Gunther?
I think it would be.
What a match that would be.
I think it'd be believable.
So
You're telling me Gunther doesn't look fucking lethal in there?
Oh, he does. Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. I wanted to see it last year. This past year, I wanted to see it, but we didn't get it. We got Brock Lesnar versus Omos instead.
Yeah, we were supposed to get Bray. We were supposed to get Bray and Lashley or Bray and Lesnar when we didn't get either of those either.
No, I think Brock Lesnar versus Gunther would be absolutely.
That's something you want to
phenomenal.
see. So I would will that in existence
I
too.
don't think it'll happen, but I would love it if it did. Another match with Gable might be good, but I don't think they're really pushing Gable.
No, they're gonna be like a battle royal. Him and Otis are gonna be like in a battle royal with Maxine Dupuis. Like,
oh my god,
Maxine Dupuis versus Rhea Ripley. She wins the Rumble. I fucking hope not. By the way, I am very much hoping not. It's not gonna be the case.
That'd be absolutely horrible.
It'd be horrendous.
But I don't know who else.
So you would have Io versus Bayley.
Yes.
Who faces Rhea Ripley?
Becky.
Who wins? That's the thing, right? That's the thing. Who wins?
Do you take the title off of Ripley right now, or do you let her hold it for a while longer?
Somebody has to lose before Mania, right?
Do they have any? Because she's Australian, right? Do they have any PLEs in Australia coming up?
They do, I think.
I think
Actually,
this is where the chamber is.
Perth.
In the that's where chamber.
Oh, the Perth Chamber match. Ripley has to be in one of those matches.
She'll probably win the chamber match. They wouldn't have her lose in her home country. That'd be stupid if they did.
So she wins in Perth, takes it to WrestleMania.
I think Becky, but who do you? And I think she retains. I think she retains.
Yeah, who's even on the roster that's any? Like, people make fun of Tony Khan not booking women. I'm not sure who's even a contender in the WWE right now.
You either got Becky, you've got Charlotte.
Who are always contenders. They don't count.
Bianca?
Again, always a contender.
That's about it, really.
That's the thing.
Unless you bring back like Trish or something, that could be a good.
Unless it's a dark horse that wins the Rumble.
I don't think Trish will win the Rumble though.
No. Who would face Rhea Ripley and probably give her a good match and potentially even beat her?
I think Trish would be. I don't think Trish would win, but Trish would give her a good match. What about Ronda? Bring back Ronda.
I have a feeling it might be Zoe Stark.
Could be.
Because it wouldn't be a main event, but it'd be a big rug for Zoe.
It'd be.
But I also have this feeling what they actually might do is Nia Jax.
Oh.
You know it's a possibility.
Oh.
You know it's a fucking possibility.
That's not.
She injures Rhea and wins by accident.
What about like another one? What about like an NXT call up, like Roxanne or Cora or
Braun Breaker? I've been fucking calling this thing for 3 years. Give me fucking Braun Breaker is ready. Put him up.
Against who though?
Gunther.
Oh.
I just thought of it now. Actually, Gunther, Braun Breaker, WrestleMania open challenge. Braun Breaker answers the bell.
I love it.
Beats Gunther.
I wouldn't have him win.
You do the rematch in Berlin.
No, I'm getting to that. I have an idea for Gunther at Berlin. It's probably not going to happen, but it's more mouthwatering.
But I think it'd be really good as a call-up, even if he loses. Who is more deadly against Gunther than a guy that looks like Braun Breaker?
Dragunov too.
Ilya Dragunov is another good one.
Dragunov beat Gunther
With the NXT Championship over his shoulder still, he comes out and showcases the NXT title.
That would be great.
After he probably retains at Stand and Deliver.
Oh, yeah. But you've got... Okay.
Dragunov versus Gunther is good too, though.
Dragunov
The one guy that could beat Gunther.
Oh.
Yes.
Dragunov or Braun Breaker, those will both be good.
I think those are good choices for there. I think one of those guys will make it. One of them will probably be a Rumble appearance. I think Dragunov will be a Rumble appearance too.
I could see Braun Breaker being in there and lasting a while.
Like Final 5 kind of thing.
I wouldn't put him Final 5. I'd probably have him come out like early in the match and last till like 20, like the late 20s.
Maybe something like Punk just throws him out or something.
Have him come out at like number 3 or something, and then have him dumped out at like number 28. Have him last like 45 minutes or something. Like that would be good.
That'd be a good debut for Braun.
That'd be a really good rub for him. I think that would be that would put him over strong. Like Gunther was put over huge last year for being in the ring for an hour and 10 minutes, and he was in the middle of it the entire time.
He mixed it up. He didn't take a sleep.
He did not but who faces Roman?
You know, if Cody wins the Rumble, it's Cody and Roman again.
And
part
Cody
2.
wins?
I fucking hope so. Cody, I want you to finish this goddamn story. I don't even care if you're good after winning.
You could lose the next night on Raw.
I wouldn't give a fuck. I would not give a fuck. Just end it. I'm so sick of it. Roman's bloodline feud was good for a year, and now we're tired of it again. It's true. They've run out of ideas. He went through every single person on the roster. He's even beaten Jay after Jay got the shocking win. Who the fuck else is left?
He beat Brock Lesnar like 4 times.
That's hair pulling. And he's going to beat Randy Orton and AJ before he even gets to Mania.
Yeah.
Which means he's beaten everybody. All the top contenders that are believable enough. No one left. It has to be Cody.
There's one.
Jimmy?
No.
Solo?
No. He is another champion right now.
Gunther.
Yes. Now, this is a theory I heard, and it's probably never. I think it's a little it's out there, and I don't think it's quite believable, and I don't think it'll happen. But have Gunther and Roman both hold their titles until Berlin in September.
Oh my God, no!
Wait a minute.
No.
And then Gunther versus Roman, title for title.
Don't want it.
Why not?
Fuck that. I'm tired of Roman. That's why not. I'm tired of Roman's ass.
Or
done
have
with
Gunther win the Rumble and take it off him at WrestleMania.
Please, I don't even care. Just do it then. I don't care. Imagine the storyline too if Gunther has the world championship going into Berlin.
That'd be so good.
Maybe he just like has both titles until he loses them. I don't know.
No, I think they'd probably take the IC belt off of him and then
to Ludwig Kaiser.
And then they'd probably have like some stupid tournament or battle royal or something. But
it's true. They probably make him lose. It's true.
But I do like your idea of Braun or Dragunov coming out.
I mean, Dragunov is a good one because Dragunov is like the one guy that has beaten him.
And has Braun beaten him too, or did he?
I don't know. I don't even know if he was there or not.
He wasn't in the UK, but he would have still been called Walter at the time.
I don't know if he actually ever faced him.
I think they did in the new NXT 2.0 crap they had.
I wasn't even watching, so I wouldn't know.
No, I thought it was stupid. Vince all over
the 2.0, and then he tried to make Von Wagner a thing.
Vince McMahon Vinced all over.
He tried to make Von Wagner a thing and had LA Knight wrestle twice in the same night, and then lose both matches.
No, Vince McMahon was like, no, he Vinced all over the whole thing.
Oh!
It was so bad. But he turned it into New Generation all over again, which is exactly what he did, and it was terrible. But
what are some of the other matches, not for championships, you can see in there that you'd want to see as like a good Ken Shamrock appearing in a match? Let's do it. A little nostalgia pop.
I think he'll get the Hall of Fame induction. I don't think he'll wrestle. if he does, it'd be like a special appearance, and I don't think it'd be at WrestleMania.
Special guest referee.
That would be good.
In the Brock Gunther match.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Man.
Ken Shamrock as special guest ref.
Oh my god. That would be insane. But that'd be absolutely insane.
Or like who? What about the U.S. title? Would the U.S. title appear on there? Would it be Santos and Rey Mysterio? Or
I think that's what they're gonna build to is Santos versus Rey, and I think Rey wins. I think they give Rey his last big run, and I don't think he holds it for super long. Either that, or you take the title off of Santos, because I think Santos is champion right now, isn't he?
Who the fuck is U.S. champion?
I think it's Santos.
I don't know.
I think it's Santos.
No, it's Logan Paul.
Oh my god, it is Logan Paul!
That means we have to include Logan Paul.
Oh my god, I forgot Logan Paul was US.
LA Knight, Logan Paul, WrestleMania.
Yes! Oh, that's good.
What bigger moment for LA Knight to finally get over the glass ceiling than beating Logan Paul?
Oh my god.
And Logan Paul, the most hated man in wrestling.
Logan Paul can make him look good too.
Yeah.
Logan Paul's really good in the ring.
And Logan will do the job.
Oh, he will. He lost a
For big money, he will do it.
Oh, he'll get paid millions.
And LA Knight's a merch pusher. That's the one. LA Knight, Logan Paul.
Oh my God.
And then Rey and Santos don't need a title for that.
They don't
it's
need
fine.
a title. There's enough meat on that bone.
Especially if Carlito's involved.
You could have Carlito as like.
You can have Carlito versus Santos at the Chamber.
Yeah, and then have Rey versus Santos at WrestleMania.
Like imagine Perth, Australia, Carlito versus Santos. That's pretty solid.
Tag team titles. Do you see Finn and Priest holding them till Mania?
Yeah, because who the fuck else is?
And then who the fuck
Who's even doing that? Like,
and who the fuck? Because KO and Sammy aren't a team anymore. So who do you even have them face?
I want them to finally separate the belts and try again with this shit, but they have no other tag teams right now.
There's rumors going around that they're gonna think about doing that, but
we're gonna think about it.
They don't have enough good tag teams to do it.
They did that to themselves. They always did it to themselves. They kept firing people for them, and now they have no tag teams because they have to make new ones.
Yeah.
Who faces the Judgment Day? Ooh, boy, oh boy. You know what? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Who are the Judgment Day feuding right now? Other than Archer. I just thought of
anybody like
R-Truth and a friend.
R-Truth
and Little Jimmy.
Yeah.
R-Truth and Little Jimmy at WrestleMania. It'd be horrendous.
That'd be a train wreck.
That'd be a fucking train wreck.
Alpha Academy, maybe. You could maybe push Alpha Academy.
That's really the only thing that will come out of it. It's good. And does Otis and Gable deserve the win? Yeah, hell yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. But
I think the Judgment Day starts falling apart a little bit at WrestleMania. That's why I think if all that plays out, Damian Priest cashes in and wins to kind of hold it together. That would make sense to put it that way.
Or the others get jealous of him and turn on him, and then he turns.
And then Priest is a natural babyface, yeah.
Priest turns babyface again.
And then Truth is still on the team.
He's the new leader of the Judgment Day. It went from Edge to
Priest and Rhea.
To Priest and Rhea.
To Archer.
To Archer.
That is some dev level booking right there.
Oh,
that is some Yeti booking right there. That's Yeti Games booking right there. When he puts a random tag team together, like, oh, this one's the leader. Like when he had the alpha males together, Brock was not the leader of that group. It was Carlito. He had Brock Lesnar and Carlito in the group together with Chad Gable. Actually, he made Chad Gable the leader of Carlito and Brock Lesnar.
God.
As the alpha males. That's why I'm saying it's some Yeti ass booking right there.
R-Truth as the leader of the Judgment Day.
Don't give him ideas. He's gonna someone's gonna do that like fuck the women's division. We're gonna have R-Truth of the Judgment Day.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, R-Truth's not signed. I should do it.
This occurred to me, yeah.
Yeah, it just occurred. Just for cringe.
You could have him at WrestleMania for the Trios Championships.
Yes,
The
R-Truth
Judgment Day with R-Truth.
with
Versus probably House of Wyatt.
Oh my god. They're getting killed.
No, man, R-Truth's going to carry it. He's going to hit the lie detector and win.
He's going to hit the lie detector to Bray himself and win.
He's going to hit it on Little Jimmy, too, just for good measure.
Little Jimmy's going to hit the lie detector on Bray.
No, he's going to hit on Dom, and Dom will just go flying. Like.
Dom just, like, flies out of the ring. Oh my god. But no, I don't see them having really much for the tag
I can see those titles not really being used unless they fall apart beforehand.
And then maybe Priest and Finn face each other.
I could see that's why I think the cash-in would work, because I think Damian versus Finn after in Europe will be really good.
Oh, that would be good.
Because then you still have Punk in there, and then you have that going on, and then you can do all that.
You can do Punk and Priest versus Finn and Dom.
And then one of them, and then they turn on Priest in the match or something like that. Like
No. This would be after that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
okay.
You have Punk teaming with Priest.
Punk and Priest would be interesting.
Punk and Priest versus.
I think it actually could work.
Finn and Dom. That would be.
I think that would actually could work.
That would be solid.
I kind of a tweener Priest with a kind of a tweener Punk.
That would be good. I think I like that.
Yeah.
But do you have any other predictions for 2024?
For the matches themselves, oh man, I really don't know until I see the grand scheme of things how it's gonna play out. Because I think we're far enough away that I don't know.
What do you think they do with Orton? Orton's now in his first WrestleMania back in 2 years.
That's the thing. I don't really know. Who's
Orton
going to
versus
feud
AJ?
with? Orton versus AJ can be fun. WrestleMania match. You can open one of the nights with that.
You could. You could open night one with that. That'd be awesome.
Night one, Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. Yeah.
I would open night two with LA Knight and Logan Paul.
For the U.S. title. Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Open night two with that. That'd be an excellent match.
Both those matches would be better than the last time. The last two we had.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
What was the night two's opener last year?
Wasn't it like?
Because Cena Theory was night one. They opened the entire show.
Which was disappointing.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the women's tag team showcase or something?
Oh, fuck! It probably was. Oh, it probably was WrestleMania.
Here, I can get it here. But night one
was Theory. Cena. Night two is Lesnar and Omos.
Oh my god! Not even 5 minutes.
I forgot that existed.
Because the rest of the matches, you had Ronda and Shayna defeating...
That's when I was like, night two's going to suck. Because these first two matches sucked.
Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya and Shotzi.
And then, I remember this specifically because I watched it at Zod's parents' house.
Yeah.
And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if Asuka lost?
Asuka wasn't in the match.
Yes, she was. Asuka lost to Bianca Belair for the Raw Championship.
Oh, later on. Because then you had Gunther defeated Sheamus and Drew.
We did a prediction show. I had them on, and I was like, you know what? For shits and giggles, because I know Yuri's going to hate it, I'm picking Bianca Belair too. And Yuri's like, no, man, it has to be Asuka. I'm like, no, I agree. It has to be Asuka. I think if there's one match that's going to be Vince McMahon it's going to be Bianca versus Asuka, and Bianca wins. And we called it. The three of us but Yuri called it. Yeti, Zod and I called it. I was like, I didn't want to call it. As soon as Bianca got the pinfall victory, I messaged Yuri. I'm like, I'm so sorry. No context, just I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, because you were supposed to get Shane McMahon versus The Miz after Shane tore his quad. And then
so
you
bad.
ended up getting Snoop Dogg doing the absolute worst people's elbow of all time.
Hey man, Snoop Dogg is now undefeated at WrestleMania.
He's 1-0.
Yeah, it's undefeated. Like Michael Cole. Michael Cole versus Snoop Dogg. Streak versus Streak. WrestleMania 40. WrestleMania 40, baby. Let's go. It's also going to take place in Philadelphia, so I'd imagine they might have some appearances from ECW guys.
Well, you won't see Dreamer because
You might still see that. Backlash is in France.
You won't see Taz because Taz is AEW.
You might still see RVD because I think they have like a per appearance thing for both companies.
Yeah, I think he does.
Paul Heyman's gonna be there because he's gonna be. Paul Heyman's gonna be more open than Roman, in that more
Paul
over than
Heyman
Roman.
will be all over that.
Yes,
show.
100%. It's also the first one with UFC involved.
I was so. Well, as soon as I heard
Conor McGregor versus Gunther, let's go!
No, I thought they were gonna do. As soon as I heard that UFC and WWE kind of did their merger, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get Roman versus fucking Conor McGregor now.
He's a $160. It's not believable.
We're gonna get Conor McGregor versus Roman Reigns.
No, we're gonna get Patty the Batty Pimblett versus Brock Lesnar. Do you know who Patty the Batty is?
Heard of him.
He's fucking hilarious.
Heard of him.
He just like he just eats a shit ton of pizza after every fight. He's like, I don't give a fuck, mate.
Of course he does.
Okay, so in 2024, what do you think is going to happen in 2024? Like, say it's the Hall of Fame. Who's going in? We know Bray.
I like your idea of Ken Shamrock. I think Ken Shamrock.
When I saw he signed a Legends contract, I'm like, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Paul Heyman for sure.
Who's like, so yeah, they usually do a dead person, unfortunately, but that'd be Bray, and he'd be the headliner too. Then you got the manager, which would be Paul Heyman, and then you got the men's guy would be probably Ken Shamrock. Who's like the international guy, and who's the women's? Yeah, it's a tough one for the women's, I think.
We just saw Muda inducted, I think. Muda's inducted now.
Yeah, they might do another Japanese legend just to kind of like appease the Japanese crowd.
Giant Baba in?
Ooh, I don't think so. And that'd be an FU to TK. Oh, how about Antonio Inoki? Is he in?
He's been in. He
So-
went in 2010.
So yeah, you have Inoki and you have Muda. Ooh, they have Vader because Vader was a Japanese legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you have to do Giant Baba.
Giant Baba would be good.
And then for the women's, who hasn't gone in yet that deserves it?
Well, I don't. Do you think China will get an induction?
I don't know. If it's not her, it has. For the love of God, please put Miss Elizabeth finally in there.
Yeah, I would like it. That would be great.
WrestleMania 40th anniversary, put her in.
Please.
Again, she was there for the very first one.
No, she wasn't.
Well, she was there for like not very first one, but she's like that golden, that first era.
Yeah,
like
her first appearance was WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, so she was there for a very long time. Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
And she's always talked about every single year how she should be in.
Put her in.
Oh, we're with the drug overdose thing. Yeah, well, I can list the names for you if you want on that Hall of Fame list. That shouldn't fucking matter.
It doesn't.
One of the Road Warriors basically drank himself to death. All right, like come on.
Yeah, they're in the Hall of Fame.
And they deserve to be. It doesn't matter.
They're one of the best tag teams ever.
Miss Elizabeth, I think she'd be the women's one because who else is there?
You could put her in as the manager's one though, but Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman will be a.
Unless you do an international one for that one too, and put like figure out an international one. Like, will it be someone who's bigger in Japan at the time? Maybe make it like Luna Vachon. But like, is that a name that people know? Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know.
What about Conan?
Conan's a touchy one, I think, for them because he's the mouthpiece that he is sometimes.
Oh yeah, he won't.
He shoots from the hip too much. He might be one of those ones that like after he's dead.
Plus, after the induction speech he gave Ray last year,
I could see Conan going in though. I could see Conan going in
because he was super over on Lucha.
Conan could be a good international star pick. Is Conan
huge in Mexico?
Yeah, he still is. He's a promoter.
Yeah, well, he is. Yeah, he's still a promoter.
That I could see it happening. I can still see it happening. I think if he goes in, Ray is the one inducting him.
Yeah, Conan inducted Ray, and now Ray inducts Conan.
Yeah, because without Conan, Ray would never got discovered. So
exactly. Dean Malenko in?
No, I would think maybe another ECW legend could potentially go in too, though.
Maybe. What about like Sabu or?
I could see Sabu.
Is Sabu still kicking around, or is
Oh
he...
yeah, he appeared in AEW this year. It was not very good, but he did.
No, but
But I could see him going in there.
okay.
He probably wouldn't say much, but he probably would go in.
Yeah.
Probably not the Sandman.
No.
Too much of a drunkard.
Yeah.
Maybe Tommy Dreamer.
Maybe Dreamer.
In Philly, I could see Dreamer.
Ooh, Raven.
Oh, we hit it. It's Raven.
Raven.
He's the one that's like not.
Was Raven already in?
I don't think Raven's already in. I think Raven was on bad terms when he left.
I don't know. Yeah, he's not been in. He's definitely. He hasn't.
Yeah, no, Raven. This is the time. Just for the fact that his wife was her name was Selena Kyle, it adds more to it to me. Catwoman.
Oh yes, but Raven would be great, and he was such a wrestling mind too.
He has an IQ of 143 that puts him part of Mensa and the Theta Chi fraternity. He was in a frat too.
Oh my god.
No, he's a genius. He's literally a genius.
And he was so good at
And a big nerd.
Oh yeah, he was a huge wrestling mark too. He was so good. Raven would be great. His WWE run was crap, but
you can put him for ECW and NWA and all that.
WCW he was okay. Like he had the Ravens. No, Raven's Flock was terrible. Never mind.
You put him in for ECW.
Yeah, he was good in ECW with the Ravens Nest.
And then you could have like a Paul Heyman come out for him.
If you have Heyman, I put Tommy Dreamer.
Oh yeah, you could do Dreamer, him, and then who does Heyman if Heyman goes in too?
Oh, Styles.
Punk?
Styles.
Joey Styles, yeah.
Or Brock.
Brock could. Can Brock do a speech?
I think Brock could.
I think Brock could do a speech. I think he'd do off the cuff and be like swearing a lot.
I think Brock could do it.
I think Brock would swear a lot, but he would do it.
Brock would be, because Brock could talk all about how Heyman helped him out at the start and everything.
It's true. Even Punk would work too, because like that's the one guy.
Do you really think giving Punk an open mic like that would be a good idea?
For Paul Heyman, yeah.
I think
he loves Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah, he was a huge Paul Heyman guy.
When CM Punk likes you, he'll suck your dick. You know what I mean? Like he is the biggest ass kisser when he likes you.
Oh, he will.
But no, I think Joey Styles makes sense. If you can get Joey Styles to come out and do that.
Oh, I would love that.
Because Lawler unfortunately was too sick to do Andy Kaufman. Oh, the celebrity wing. Should be Cyndi Lauper by now, right?
Is he still not in?
No, she's still not in. Cyndi Lauper should be in. She's part of one of the biggest women's matches in history of wrestling.
No, I was like, isn't she in? I'm like, no, wait, she inducted Wendy Richter
yes!
into the Hall of Fame. So yeah.
Wendy should be inducting Cyndi Lauper.
Well, that would be good. Or, no, Captain Lou Albano's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah. It would have to be Wendy Richter.
Her, then I guess Wendy Richter can do it.
But if not her, if not a celebrity.
Well, Drew Carey's in there, and he shouldn't be. Because Drew Carey literally made one appearance, told everyone that he'd never watched wrestling before.
It has to be someone who's not recent either. Otherwise, I think Bad Bunny would get it eventually.
I think Bad Bunny will get there eventually, but no.
Snoop Dogg will get it eventually as well.
Is Arnold already in? Because Arnold made that really good appearance with Triple H and everything. I think Arnold's already in.
If he's not, he should.
He only really had one appearance, though.
No, yeah. What celebrity has had Stephen Amell because he's Cody's friend, too?
Maybe.
Definitely not Snooki.
No, please no. They already inducted Bob Uecker, and Bob Uecker's done a lot of stuff for them.
Bruce Buffer for WCW.
That is he still Michael
and
Buffer.
UFC,
Buffer,
both of them, either or.
Bruce Buffer was never in WCW.
So the other one,
UFC.
The other
and
one.
then have Bruce and have his brother induct him. Is Michael Buffer still alive?
I don't know. I know they both have been around.
Bruce is still around.
Bruce is still doing UFC appearances.
I mean, he's 79 years old.
Yeah, no, I would do it. That's a good one. Michael Buffer, you get the WCW connection and you get the UFC connection.
And you'd have, that makes a lot of sense, and have Bruce Buffer induct him.
Have Bruce come out and be man, the buffers are popular. They're so over in sports world.
Well, they both have their signature catchphrase too.
That you have to pay. We can't even say it on here because we might get flagged.
Well, yeah, we can't.
That's how Teflon the buffers have that.
Oh yeah.
But I think in Philadelphia, especially, why not? It's like a fight city. You get the buffers out there.
Oh, that would be good.
It'd be a good. I could see UFC making that a pick for them.
Now, do you find
Same with Ken Shamrock. I think that'd be a good pick for them. That might be another reason why UFC is even UFC would even be down to sign Ken Shamrock because he's a legend for UFC. He's a UFC Hall of Famer.
Now, who would induct Ken Shamrock?
The Rock. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be awesome. Another, no, he doesn't have the charisma. I was gonna say Dan the Beast Severn, but
No. Oh God, no. Dana White. I could see it though.
I could see it being Dana White.
Dana White's first appearance in a WWE show is inducting Ken Shamrock. How crazy would that be?
That would be nuts.
Especially when Dana White's already pretty crazy.
I think The Rock would be good. Now, speaking of The Rock, when are they finally going to pull the trigger on putting him in the Hall of Fame?
Whenever The Rock decides he wants to go in. I think it's up to him. Apparently it's always up to him.
I think they'll induct him whenever he wants.
I think they'll probably wait till they're back in Miami.
Now,
it's one of those things they'll do. They'll either do a Hollywood or Miami.
Now, when do you think they'll pull the trigger again on Batista?
It could even be this year still.
Aren't they in DC next year? Or the year after?
That's a good question. Who's 41? WrestleMania 41.
Oh, they're apparently eyeing Minneapolis.
Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, the Minneapolis Brock Lesnar. He goes in next year.
Yes.
Why not? At that point, he's already had his career. Brock Lesnar from Minneapolis. What guy from Minneapolis is bigger than him in wrestling?
Yeah, there's nothing.
It would have to be Brock. He literally dragged an entire university on his back before he even got to WWE.
That would be good.
Minneapolis. If they do a Toronto one, that'd be tricky. Who would you put in at that point? Because most of them are in AEW.
Trish is already in.
The rest of them are in AEW right now.
Edge is already in. Christian's in AEW.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of those. You would put Jericho, but he's in AEW.
And he's not Toronto. He's Winnipeg.
Still.
Yeah.
Still, they're never gonna do fucking Mania in Winnipeg.
Yeah, no.
They'll never do a Winnipeg Mania. It's not gonna happen.
Toronto would be the only Canadian city that could host WrestleMania. I
could see Montreal because they have an outdoor stadium too, but
I don't think it's big enough for them. I think it would have to be.
They could. It depends if they renovate one.
If they make no, I don't. I'm not talking about the stadium. I don't think they would do it. I don't think the city would be big enough for them. I think it'd be Toronto, maybe Vancouver, but Toronto for me would be number one.
I could see Vancouver still.
Yeah, maybe.
I could actually see Quebec because of the French Canadian influence in wrestling.
And their crowds are always white hot too.
And say it's a year that Sami and KO are up for induction. One day.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be best. That'd be probably best case scenario to do of Mania is if you know KO and Sami right there.
Oh yeah.
Or even the Rougeaus. PCOs after a career.
He wasn't. You mean the Quebecers?
Quebecers, yeah. Sorry, the Quebecers. His career even afterwards, PCO.
He's still wrestling.
He's still going.
He's still taking huge bumps.
No, he's nuts.
He's crazy.
PCO is nuts.
He's almost 60 and he's crazy. He's nuts.
He's had a career renaissance in his late 50s.
He's crazy.
Fucking nuts.
But, I don't know. Who would you induct if it's Toronto? Because all the great Canadian wrestlers are either already in
or they're in AEW. That's the problem, I think.
Trish is already in, Edge is already in, Christian and Jericho are in AEW. You wouldn't have induct Omega because Omega's never done anything for WWE.
He'd be like an international pick. He wouldn't be their big draw.
But after he's retired.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be their big drawing power one.
No, because a lot of WWE fans. A lot of exclusively WWE fans probably don't really know who he is.
Yeah. It would have to be Jericho whenever he's done.
Probably Jericho. Do you think Jericho will ever have one last stint in the WWE as a wrestler?
I think so.
I think that's.
I think he's protected his. I think he's protected his body enough that if the opportunity comes, he'll take it.
And he'll retire in WWE.
For one match, I think he'll do like a Mania match in somewhere in the mid card and be off in the sunset. He's a bit old school like that. But he also says he doesn't want a retirement match. He says, "Once I'm done, I'm just done. I'm just gonna walk away."
He could put over KO again, or Sammy.
Or he just walks away and he gets inducted when he's not being officially retired. He just doesn't wrestle for a couple of years and just, okay, I guess he's done.
Well, he did that a few times. He would just leave.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
But he did that when his band was touring,
and when he was doing TV stuff too.
Yeah. Because he was on Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars. He was hosting a game show that didn't really work out, but he did hosting a game show too. Even John Morrison's done TV stuff. It's crazy actually. He was on Survivor.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Didn't do very well, but he was on Survivor.
But I think we have talked about a lot today.
I think we talked about a lot. I think we had a good first go at this to just kind of see what we're doing. At this point, I don't really know what we're gonna do for 2024. We'll have to look more into it closer to the time. I think, like once January, February comes, we'll kind of like look into like that WrestleMania season starting. The Rumble will really kind of tell us how to craft what we're gonna do.
I think so. I think it'll be interesting to see where this goes. We'll look into things more as the new year passes, but I think this was a really good first show.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys will listen to it afterwards because there'll be an audio version too. And we'll do all that, and it should be a lot of fun.
Should be good.
We'll do more of these. I think we'll do, especially when I have a wrestling off season for my stuff.
Oh, of course.
And then we're never gonna be away for wrestling because it's not gonna be really an off season because we're gonna be doing more discussions.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll have a Mania discussion.
Well, of course, Mania's right in the middle of it.
We'll have a Mania just before the new game comes out.
Oh, man.
Actually, it might be right when the game first comes out.
Yeah, probably. They usually, I think, they came out the same.
They're projecting March this year.
Okay.
So about a few weeks before Mania, which is a good plan.
Probably Bray on the cover.
It might be Bray as a cover, and then a pre-order DLC is CM Punk.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a given at this point. Maybe even Jade Cargill as like a DLC pack.
Probably in a pack. I wouldn't put her. She hasn't even made her TV debut yet.
No, but like putting her in a DLC pack would be like enough.
She's been on screen, but she hasn't.
Hasn't wrestled yet.
She hasn't wrestled yet. I think they're still trying to.
I think she's training right now, and they're seeing what they got.
Do you think they put her in the Women's Rumble?
I think that's a good pick for that. That might be a good debut for her.
I don't think she'd win.
No, but she might be good pop there.
Like final few women, I think.
Yeah, maybe even put her at 30 and see what happens to like the crowd reaction.
I feel like she would get eliminated super quick if she did that. I'd have her come in at like maybe like 20 to 25.
Maybe.
And then.
It really depends on how they craft it, I think.
And then, because the Rumble's a very hard match to craft.
It's the hardest. I would say it's the hardest. Even ours is gonna be difficult. How we're gonna because we can't determine the numbers. Ours is unpredictable completely. Like Okada won at 22 last season.
Ooh. It's usually one of your last like 10 people winning.
Yeah.
They don't tend to last as long in the Rumble as they would.
So if your top guy is not in the final 10, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah. Just all my guys come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's happened with the Yeti's little Rumbles where one show had like everyone come out in the first 10. Which is again RNG just works against you. But yeah, we'll do this again more Screwjob Effect. Dan and I can go on for hours about stuff, so we'll have to cut it off before we get to that point. It's been 2.5 hours. I think it's a good amount of time.
That is a good amount of time. We'll cut out a decent amount because of the.
Yeah.
But I think we had a good show.
And I'll see you guys tomorrow for more CWF action because we have the new week coming up. The post-Christmas blues is starting, and everyone's gonna get people. The last pay-per-view is not super good RNG wise for some shows. For one show, 2 shows, it was really good. WCW's and SmackDowns came out really good. But if you're Yeti, it didn't come out super good, and I'm very sorry. Yeah, even in winning, it didn't come out very good for him. His payout is not going to be nearly as good because of it. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for that. It'll be tomorrow night. I don't know what time. Probably like 6 or 7. Whenever I'm ready to go, because I have to bring all this back in there now. But I'll see you guys then. Thank you for coming by. And that was the screwdriver effect, and we'll probably have an outro and intro at some point, and we'll figure that out. What do we plan for the next thing? Like for the next discussion? Probably the quiz.
Probably a quiz show. That'd be nice. I think a quiz show would be
Ruthless
fun.
Aggression, the era that we both know pretty well, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. So see you guys later.